Let's make sure we're live real quick. Testing. I don't know if we're live yet. 1 second. Does this say excellent connection?
Yep, we're live.
Oh, yeah, we're good. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday to you all. Hope you all had a nice Wednesday night. The only bet I placed was Pacers, and it lost. I should have bet the T-Wolves. I liked Minnesota. I liked Clippers team total under. Didn't do it. Would have went even if I placed that bet as well, but I didn't. I do have an NBA bet open that I like. There's a few games I haven't had a chance to take a look at, but we'll go through them all. First up, Dallas, Washington in D.C. This is not one of the games I took a look at, nor is it a game I have any interest in taking a look at. You guys have anything to say about this one?
What don't you like here, Kyle? You don't like...
I'm trying to figure out too, Ski.
I mean, I was guilty of posting a Wizards to make the playoffs or to win the East, I think, on your Twitter feed. I guess
some money in one of these spots before. You know it. I mean, all morning I've been feeling like, is Dallas really going to want to get up for the Wizards? No Kuzma. I mean, all these players out anyway, and they already suck. They only won 2 games. It's the two teams, like one's been super hot, the other one's been super cold. I just feel like they overlooked this game. I really want to get there with the big home dog tonight. My fingers are just having a little trouble pushing confirm, but Wizards plus the points, that's the only way I'll be in this game.
Chris, if you co-sign it, I'm in. I'll do it.
I will absolutely not co-sign nothing that has Wizards written on it. I don't care how many times they cash for Ski. And Ski, it's gonna be like a new, like an eclipse. The last time they covered was the last time you played them. It probably won't happen for a while. Probably would not happen for a while. And you look at the injury report here. In all seriousness, like I think Brogdon did get ruled in. I want to say, but Kuzma's out. Keyshawn George is also out. He didn't return in that last game, and Corey Kispert is also out. Like, this is already like the worst offensive team, the worst defensive team. And Ski, real quick, Dallas going back to last season, I looked this up yesterday. They're 10-1 straight up and against the spread as a road favorite in non-conference games. So for whatever reason, they love coming to DC and beating up on this team. So I couldn't believe it yesterday. I said this earlier on my show. It actually opened at 10. I immediately took 11 before like even being able to finish my handicap, and then of course it moved, so I didn't even get a chance to send it out. But at this point, I probably still lay the points. Like I'm not messing with the Wizards, man, in DC, especially against Dallas. To Ski's point, this last thing I'll say, Dallas did have to overcome a 15-point deficit against Memphis the other day, and I know how much we always talk about teams having to overcome those deficits, Ski, but it's no look ahead spot here. Like Dallas don't got anything to look forward to. Who they got? They got they don't have a look ahead spot here, so it still be Dallas in this spot for me. I think they win by 20.
Normally, Ski, I'm not the type of friend to just leave you in the trenches taking grenades by yourself, but I'm not doing it, man. You're on your own here. You are on your own here. Do not put Wizards up for me, please. Let's move on to the next game. And this is the game I have a bet on. I got Cleveland last night at 3.5. Still like it at 4.5. Anything under 6 is cool with me. I like the matchup for the Cavs here. This Denver offense, this is an offense that likes to score the ball on the interior, like to take shots at the rim, shots in the paint. Obviously, on the road in Cleveland, it's a very tough place to go do that. Cleveland's got great defensive bigs, as I'm sure you know, with Mobley and Allen. Now, I don't necessarily love the matchup for Cleveland offensively. Props to the Nuggets. They've been playing better defense than I thought, or at least I thought they would be. They've actually been defending the 3-point line okay, but in the last few games, we've seen them get lit up out there a few times. The Knicks did it once. The Clippers lit them up out there. Denver also not the best fast break defense either, so I think Cleveland can get out in transition. Like the Cavs here. Bet it at 3.5. I like it at 4.5 too.
I think they do match up pretty solid with the Nuggets. And I feel like they've been playing well, especially early in games. So I might look at Cavaliers first half. It wasn't a game that really was on my radar today out of all of them, but I can be talked into Cavs first half.
Yeah, this is the only bet I actually have open right now. I'm open to suggestions for the other ones, but as of right now, my only open bet is Cleveland minus 3.5. Chris?
Co-sign it. I like it. One of my top looks on the board for today as well, Kyle. It was 3.5. So it opened 4, and then that saw it go to 4.5, and then it came back down to 3.5, and it slowly trickled back up. And I agree with that. I agree with all that. You got Denver, first of a 3-game road trip as far as travel goes. Only 1 day of travel after beating Golden State the other night, so no practice time. Denver is they don't play well in Cleveland. I know last 2 times they played last season, they both split. The home team won both games, and I see Cleveland doing the same thing. And even if I wanted to back Denver, it's what you said, Kyle. Defensively, they're not guarding a 3-point shot. We know Cleveland wants to shoot a ton of threes in this spot. So I love everything about Cleveland today. I'll be on them as well. The other thing you mentioned about the spread, Kyle, because I didn't play it yet, but I'm not afraid of the number either. And here's why. When Denver loses this season, they've only covered one game, one of their 8 games that they actually lost. So they're 1-7 against the number. When Cleveland wins, they're 15-4 against the number, and they're winning by about 13 points per game. So if they do win, I can see it being 7, 8, 9 points.
Yeah, and for those of you that are wondering maybe why the line's so low, I think you can make a case for the strength of schedule here. I mean, the Cavs have played one of the easiest schedules in the NBA. They're 27th in strength of schedule. Denver's 10th. So for as far as money coming in on the other side, keeping this at a low number, they could be looking at the fact that they think Denver's a bit undervalued as a whole and Cleveland's a bit overvalued. But still, I like the matchup for the Cavs at home here. So I like the bet. I don't care that the whole world's on it. Give me the Cleveland Cavs next game. Wow, can't talk. What's next? Oklahoma City, Toronto. Yeah. I'm good. I mean, I don't like Oklahoma City. I don't like betting them. Don't like anything about them. So I want to go Toronto, but I'm not going to do it.
I do have a bet in this game. I'm going to go, first of all, Hardenstein over 10.5 rebounds. I think he's averaging a little bit over 12, and he definitely hit this 3 of his last 4 games. You have a chance for Jakob Poeltl to be out in this game. Now, that'll make it even better. But even if he plays, I think he can get to his average, especially coming off of the bad game that he had last one. Or, he just didn't play that many minutes. He didn't put up the stats he usually does. So I like him tonight. Other than that, Toronto's been scrappy. It's hard for me to, lay points against really anybody. They're going to play to the end, especially being at home. I would have to lean towards Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, the Raptors are, 7-2 against the number in their last 9. So betting Toronto has been extremely profitable. They're also, 5-3 straight up in their last 8. So the Raptors are playing some ball. Like I said, if I was to bet this game, it would only be Toronto plus the big number here. I don't know. Until with no Chet Holmgren out there, Jalen Williams also is in the past has been a cool piece for them off the bench. It's without those guys, I think Oklahoma City is going to be a little overvalued. So I would lean that way. But like I said, I don't have any money on it. Chris?
Yeah, I'm always on the opposite side, Kyle, when it comes to OKC, but not in this spot though. I would agree with you. In Iski, I'd only be taking the points here with Toronto. I think I want Jakob Poeltl in though. Like Ski mentioned, if Jakob Poeltl gets ruled out, I may just jump on Isaiah Hardenstein rebounds with Ski because that makes way too much sense. And Cal, when do you want to ever try to fade Toronto? It's always against a team that's really good offensive rebounding team, right? A team that can rebound the basketball. And since Scottie Barnes is back, that's another good rebounder. RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl, they got guys. They play super hard. I mean, you guys kind of gave out the numbers already, and OKC is only 5-4-1 against the spread in their last 10 games, and they haven't really. They're not super profitable on the road so far this season. I think just 6-4 against the number on the road so far this season as well. And y'all gave out the numbers for Toronto, super scrappy team. I'm having people in the comment section of my show saying, man, we gotta start. We're supposed to be tanking. And quickly hasn't even come back yet. Toronto looks like, they're gonna be scrappy all year. So as long as they can stay healthy, I think they can keep this game within the 9.5 as well. But I would definitely want Jakob Poeltl because he means a lot in my opinion.
What is he listed as questionable?
Yeah, he got downgraded. Questionable. It's illness.
All right, cool. Glad I didn't bet it then. Next game, Charlotte, New York, and I think this number's too big. I mean, I get it, no LaMelo Ball, but Obviously, LaMelo Ball being the superstar of the team tends to get a little overvalued, especially now that Nick Richards is healthy. Also, Mark Williams is healthy as well. The question is, can Charlotte compete on the glass here with New York? Are they going to be able to battle in terms of rebounding? Early in the season, the first 5 games or so, before Nick Richards got hurt, the Hornets were winning the rebounding battle in every single game. So theoretically, now that Nick Richards is back, I kind of think we should start to see the Hornets slowly increase in terms of rebounding the ball. It's just, haven't really seen it yet. So on the road in New York against the Knicks team that's been playing really well, plays really well at home, it's tough. It's a tough sell. I do think this number's too big, though. So if I was to bet it, it would only be Charlotte. But I don't have it. If you guys co-sign it, I'm down to play Charlotte. But as of right now, it's just Hornets or pass for me.
Well, first of all, they're number 1 in offensive rebound percentage the last 5 games. The Hornets are.
So they are coming. Okay, so that's good news. So it is coming back.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it looks like, at least.
Oh, I see that too. Yep.
I don't feel super strong about a side. I want to look more at the total. I don't want to talk you off of the Hornets, but I'm looking at the last 5 games. Hornets must have been playing defense. I mean, number 5 defensive rated team. Knicks also in the top 10. And Hornets offense, that's been what's suffering, especially without LaMelo out there. Bottom 3 offensive rated team. They're playing at the second slowest pace. Knicks kind of middle of the pack as far as pace. I think they're comfortable playing fast or slow. So against the Hornets, who are not playing fast right now, who are minus LaMelo, I think the under. I mean, I always talk about, if you know, they just played and it went under by close to 20 points. They're playing again in a very short time frame, and they already moved it down 5 points. They think it'll be another low scoring game. The last 3 times they played, it's went under this number. I didn't even bet this yet, but I'm starting to really, really like, and I think I'm going to bet Hornets Knicks under.
I actually am starting to look myself into a Hornets bet here. Chris, you with it?
No, but that's the way that I would play it, though. I don't think I want to lay this many points. But here's the problem for me. Y'all mentioned Charlotte being super scrappy, feisty, all that good stuff. I watched them really struggle in the first half the other day against Paul George and Tyrese Maxey. I'm not sure all that scrappiness. Like, I hope they put it in the suitcase and brought it with them to New York, because this is the first time they've been on the road without LaMelo all season. The Knicks could absolutely smoke the Charlotte Hornets by 40, and we all look like idiots in this spot. I'm just not sure how motivated they're going to be. They weren't motivated in Charlotte the other day. I'll tell you that. They won the game by 1 point. And they were laying close to a number almost, I think, like this. Like, it was like 13-12 as road favorites the other day. So I kind of feel like without LaMelo, I look at and Ski's kind of like talking me off of this now, but I look at the Charlotte Hornets offense, and granted they're the number 1 offensive rebounding team, but the Knicks don't give up a ton of offensive rebounds. I also look at Charlotte offensively. They turn the ball over a lot, second most. If the Knicks go in there and want to force turnovers, like they can name whatever number they want to. This 115.5, they might have 85 at the end of the third quarter. So I kind of lean team total over for the Knicks. I'm just not sure how motivated they're going to be, especially coming off a big cup win against Orlando the other day. Probably looking forward to the cup as well. So I say all that to say, I guess if I had to play it, it would be plus 14, but I can see this one getting ugly. Like, this could look like Minnesota and the Clippers last night.
Oh, well, I got a graphic up here. Probably put it up for me. If LaMelo Ball was playing, this would be Hornets money line, like prime spot. The Hornets actually are first in pick and roll frequency, and the Knicks are terrible against pick and roll offenses. The problem is how many of those pick and rolls, they're first in frequency, how many of those involve LaMelo Ball? I would imagine every goddamn one of them.
Yeah,
so I don't know how.
Yeah,
I don't know how frequently they're running the pick and rolls without LaMelo Ball on the court. But check that graphic out. If LaMelo was playing, it would be Hornets money line here. The plays right. The Hornets with the healthy front court can rebound with the Knicks, and they run an offense that has given the Knicks problems this year. I'd be all over Hornets money line. In fact, screw it. I'm betting Hornets plus 14.5. Screw LaMelo. Don't need him. All right, let's go on to the next game. Sacramento, Memphis. I almost bet the under last night at 243.5, and if I did, I would have had a couple points of value. I know Wags in our group. You guys probably know Wags. He likes the under. He got it at 243.5 He really likes the under tonight. You guys have anything on this one? Memphis, Sacramento?
No, this is not one that I bet. I'll just continue to say I still don't trust Sacramento. A lot of what bad I was saying about them is they're top heavy, and when they had guys out, it was really a fade spot for Sacramento. Now they're starting to get healthy, so I'm kind of on the fence just watching. But I would think Memphis, after they blew their last game, would come in and win at home versus team. So I lean Memphis. Didn't put my money on it.
The way the numbers look for the Grizzlies so far this year, they kind of remind me of Oklahoma City from the last couple years. Run a fast-ass pace, get out in transition a lot, rip a lot of turnovers, just keep the game moving as quickly as you can. Kind of like how Oklahoma City has found success the last couple of years. That's kind of what these numbers are looking for, like for the Grizzlies so far this year. One thing I will say, though, in terms of limiting their opponent fast break opportunities, the Kings are third in the NBA. They're second in efficiency against the fast break and first in points per game allowed against the fast break. So the Kings have not done many things right this year, but one thing they are towards the top of the NBA across the board is defending the fast break. So, I mean, theoretically, the Kings do match up pretty well against Memphis. The problem is, we got a total over 240 here. Memphis is going to score. So, can the Kings keep up? I personally don't think they can. So, as much as I would love, I was looking at the Kings. I think it was like +4.5 last night. I think the best way to go would just be take this super high total, take it under, because the Kings, based on what these numbers are showing, have been good at limiting fast break opportunities. So, we're talking about 241, 242 points. If the Grizzlies' fast break opportunities go from 20 to 14, it should slow the game down dramatically and stay under that total, theoretically. But that's the way I would go with this one is under. I wish I took it last night. Obviously, it was 243.5, but under a pass for me.
Yeah, Cal.
Chris is on the over. I can see his face. He's on the over.
No, absolutely not. No. Because I saw what you saw, right? It's the transition defense. And I was like, hold on, what? Sacramento transition defense that good? Maybe it has something to do with them beating Houston outright the other day, because we know Houston like to run fast too. So I saw that. Then I also looked at what they struggle with, which is their 3-point defense is one of the worst in the NBA. They're actually 27th in opponent 3-point accuracy, opponents shooting 42%. But like Memphis, we know one thing about Memphis, they like to attack the rim. Like they don't even shoot a bunch of threes. They're not like a great 3-point shooting team. They're bottom 10 last 5 games. So that kind of made me think, I can't get to the over here. I would be more towards the under. Kings historically go under as road dogs. I think it was 11-5 to the under last season. So I guess I kind of agree with you guys. I do think Memphis is the right side in the game, though. They're coming off a loss where they were down. They were up 15 in the fourth quarter, I think it was, against Dallas the other day. Pretty sure they got a bad taste in their mouth. And you got Sacramento coming off a win as a dog. Memphis has been absolutely money at the crib so far this season. So short number like this, I haven't laid it yet, but I'm probably going to get there with a -3.5 and probably a first half look as well. May split it because they've been, I think, the second most profitable team at home in the first half so far this season.
And Wag said in the comments, that wasn't me. So whoever had the under 243 in the group last night, my bad. I thought it was Wags. So I'll give you the credit. I forget who it was. I thought it was Wags. Guess not. Steez is in the comments. He said, I love Kings money line, and it's typed out in all capital letters. Yo, Steez making the playoffs in the betting league 3 weeks in a row has been a nightmare. The dude thinks he's the sweetest fucking thing to happen to the Discord now. It's the worst thing. He's got an ego out of control now.
It sounds like he's pretty hot, though.
3 weeks in a row, he made it to the play, which means you made it to the final 6 of all the people that entered. So, yeah, he was on a heater, but it's over now. So, enough with the capital letters. All right, we got Bulls. What's next? Bulls, Spurs. Short line here. I didn't look at this game, but I'm curious. Nice short line. I feel like the Bulls have at least showed us who their identity is now, where we might be able to, I don't know, have some sort of feel for the way they're playing. Spurs are pretty inconsistent, though, and running a slower pace. You guys got anything for this? Let me guess, Ski. Vooch, 3-pointers. Vooch, triple-double.
No, I'm not mad at any Vooch props, but I'm not on them today. I think, especially if, not if, Wemby's not playing. So it should be a lot of opportunities for Vucevic tonight. Bulls are the more rested team. I think they have 2+ days rest for this one. And the Spurs, they are rested, but first of a back-to-back for them. So what I think in this game, first of all, I got to go to Josh Giddey. With the Bulls missing Kobe White and Lonzo Ball, you saw the last game when Kobe White was out, Josh Giddey had a triple-double. So just looking at him, his assist prop, I think that's the best way to go. I'm not mad if you want to do PRA, but his assists at 6.5, he averages like a 6.9, but 5 of his last 6, he's hit it. And like I said, it's going to be a lot of playmaking responsibilities on him tonight with the lack of guards for Chicago. So Giddey over 6.5 assists is what I like. And what Chicago's identity is playing fast, not playing defense. So if I'm playing the total, it'll be over.
I'm looking at the Bulls game logs here. The entire season, they've played 21 basketball games, and only 3 have a pace of below 102. So, yeah, this team is running. Chris?
And they're rested, like Ski just said. I actually like Chicago. I think Chicago could win this game all right. Or just look at the team total, up and over 117.5. I think, like, without Wemby there, the reason why I didn't play it is because to Ski mentioned Josh Giddey. He's actually listed as questionable with an ankle sprain. So not sure if I want to take a Bulls team that defensively last 5 games, they have been middle of the pack. Like they are about a 113.4 defensive rating, which is pretty good. But when I look at Wemby, when I look at San Antonio without Wemby, they give up 8 more points per 100 possessions with him off the floor than on the floor. Like that, I'm not putting my money on them. So yeah, I think I would be looking at Chicago if I had to play it, but no Kobe White, potentially no Zach LaVine. I mean, potentially no Josh Giddey. I think I'm gonna stay on the sidelines in this one, at least live. And Trey Jones is out as well. I forgot to mention that he's out on the San Antonio side as well.
So you like the Bulls to score some points, Giddey over assists. Everything you guys said is pointing towards Bulls points. Maybe I'll play on Bulls team total over just to join in all the fun.
117.5, guy.
Actually, no. I like Cleveland. I'm gonna bet the Hornets too. I don't need to be forcing that. What's next? Phoenix Pelicans. Who's out for the Suns where this is 1.5?
Durant.
Yeah,
and Nurkic.
Nurkic. No, I took the Suns. What game was that? I think it was Suns Oklahoma City where I was like, guys, let's hit the Suns.
I remember that game.
Yeah, you think you guys are on? It's like, guys, the Oklahoma City has no bigs. Nurkic is gonna, and man, and someone in the comments was like, Nurkic does literally nothing. They said that in the comments. And this guy is rocked. So no, Nurkic just does not move the needle for me one way or the other. I didn't look at this one. You guys take a look at this game.
I think that's what me and Chris both felt that way about Nurkic. I think I do like Iguodala, but I don't think it's enough for Phoenix. From what I've seen so far, they can play well, they can play good whenever KD's in the lineup. Whenever he's not, you better pray if you have a ticket on the Suns. For the Pelicans, they've been pretty pathetic too. They've been better at home than on the road, and they're getting healthier now. So I want to think the Pelicans can win this game. I just don't know if I can put my money on it. So lean Pelicans. That's all I got.
Oh, I'm looking at the Pelicans game logs here. They're offensive game logs, and my spreadsheets go green and red based on good and bad. The amount of red,
it's a bunch of red.
When it comes to the Pelicans shooting, I have Pelicans 2-point field goals, Pelicans 3-point field goals, and it's just like red. Like this team just does not hit shots. Chris, you have a look in this one?
Absolutely not. No, I agree with everything that Ski said, though. Like, I as much as I want to think that Devin Booker could come in here and just kind of, will these guys to a win, I can't put my money on that. I mean, he do got Bradley Beal there, but I can't put my money on that. And the Pelicans, I guess they showed a little bit of life against Atlanta the other day for a little while. They still didn't cover, but I think they have 4 wins on the season, I think. And 3 of them have come at home. I think they're 3-7, straight up at the crib. So, the other thing, the big part of the handicap is I don't know if the Pelicans actually want to win a game. Like, remember the last time they were at home? I think they were playing the Raptors, and they got absolutely smoked in that game. And I don't know if I don't think I was on them, but that was a winnable game. They just did not look like they look cool and content with losing, like it's the new winning. So I'm not putting money on the Pelicans either. So it still be Suns and nothing for me. I think they can win.
I think I found a bet I might like here. So check this out.
What is it?
So I got my sheet open here, which is coming together, by the way. So on the season, these two teams not really running a fast pace, but specifically the last 5 games, both these teams seem to be speeding it up. In the last 5 games, the Suns are 7th, the Suns are 10th in pace. The Pelicans are 7th. So both these teams have been running a particularly fast pace recently. And check this out. So the Suns do not force any turnovers, and the Suns don't turn the ball over. So I'm seeing maximized possessions, right? Possessions not ripped away. Fast pace, maximized possessions. This game gets up and over, right?
I do think the Pelicans have, some players out there who are better at offense than that chart that you were looking at earlier. So I think they can contribute.
And Brandon Ingram is back, right? He's back, right, Ski?
He's back, yeah. Ingram's in, Murphy's in.
Yeah, Murphy. Yeah. I think it's get to the over too. I know that the defense for Phoenix drops off tremendously. It's like a nice little amount without KD on the floor. I think I had it in my notes, but their defense is not nearly as good. I want to say it's like 7 or 8 points per 100 possessions worse with KD off the floor.
Only thing I'll say is it opened 218.5 and it's 223 or 223.5 now.
Hurts. Yeah, so I do think that game gets over the total, even though it's 5 points post market there. Houston, Golden State. Oh, this is a cool one. Let's pull this one up. I'm going to bet this game. This will be a fun one. All right, what do you guys got for this one?
Hasty the injury report, Ski. Go ahead.
Oh no, is it bad?
No, it's not. It's not terrible. I mean,
on the Golden State
side, Steph and Draymond out for Golden State, and Wiggins is still questionable. For Houston, Easton is out with a concussion, and Van Fleet is game time decision. So gonna have to wait till a little bit later to find out. But my thoughts on this game, the last time that they played, the Rockets were coming off back-to-back wins. They saw the Warriors with no Steph Curry, and I feel like they just overlooked them. After the first quarter, they were down by like 20 points, and they fought their way back in that game. They took it to overtime. They just couldn't get the job done. So I think this time around, when they see no Steph Curry out there, I think they're still, going to take them serious. And I think they'll throw the first punch this time. I look at, a lot of times they've been really good first half at home, but on the road, they've covered their last 3 in the first half. I think it's early and often for the Rockets tonight. They're a better defensive team for sure lately. And hopefully Van Fleet plays and the offense can still be solid. So I like the Rockets first half. I like the Rockets full game.
I kind of think I might be with you on that. Looks like Golden State's trending in the wrong direction. Obviously, injuries play a part in that. But for the last 5 games, poor offensive performances. They did play well against the Nets on the 25th. But other than that, we're talking about 4 out of the last 5. Even the defense is trending in the wrong direction. 4 of the last 5 have been bad defensive games. I think I could probably get on board with the Rockets. I hate betting against, a team like Golden State. They always seem, when that one game, I'll never forget those 2 games they played back. Chris knows what I'm about to say.
The Pelicans?
The Pelicans, yeah. When they played those 2 games back-to-back against the Pelicans with no Steph Curry, and they came out and they played excellent team defense. They got to every goddamn loose ball, and I bet the Pelicans on the first one, and then on the show the next day, I'm like, guys, I'm not going to do it again. Show ended, and I went and bet the Pelicans again, and I watched the entire second game sick. This team did play really well in that brief stint without Steph Curry. So I don't know if I actually bet this one. Chris, what are you thinking?
I'm traumatized by that too, Kyle. I'll take it back a step further. I remember when Draymond put Rudy Gobert in the headlock and they had to play, and the Warriors had to play without Draymond. And they were a dog in that spot as well. It was back-to-back games. I think they had the Timberwolves like the next game too. And I was scared to bet against them then. The Timberwolves cleaned them up. And I think the same thing happened with, like, a similar situation happened with OKC and Golden State. Like, this is not a team I really want to lay a lot of points with when they're a dog. And I think that's one of the reasons why this line just doesn't move anymore. Like, it hasn't really moved a lot. But I'm with Ski. Saying all that, I'm still with Ski here. And it's that they take the game serious. They're also, the only thing Ski didn't mention is that they also off a really bad loss against Sacramento the other day. So
the coach was in text.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, they got Alfred Sengun got ejected. They all got fined too. I think it was like $100,000 worth of fines. So I don't think they want to go, back-to-back losses against in really 2 winnable games. So Fred VanVleet plays, And to your point, what you was looking at, Kyle, like Golden State is not even just their offense anymore. Like it's defensively, they're struggling as well. It's kind of almost as bad. They're not bad as the Lakers, but they were one of those teams that were in the top 3 in the West, and they're on the outside. They just fall down. It's like a ladder. Both teams just falling down slowly. So yeah, it'd be Houston in this spot for me. I'd lay it.
I actually was looking at it, and I think I would switch from the Rockets to the under if I was going to bet it. Just a couple things concern me here. The Golden State's been excellent defensively against the fast break. They also have been protecting the basket well. Obviously, Draymond's probably has a lot to do with that, but maybe not the best matchup. So I probably would lean towards the under, but I don't. I'll see. Maybe I throw a bet on this later, but I don't think so.
Sengun double and a win.
Sengun double and a win. There you go.
Double and a win. Yeah.
All right.
And real quick, last thing, Kyle, real quick. Without Steph and Draymond on the floor, it's been 622 possessions so far this season. The Warriors, to your point about the under, the Warriors' offensive efficiency is 97, like just a flat 97 with Draymond and Steph off the floor.
That is ugly. All right, let's talk some football. Clear the board so you can see these guys' Twitter. Make sure you give these guys a follow. They each do their own YouTube show. Chris is in the morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Skis is at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And he also does a second one, too. So make sure you go click the subscribe button and click the follow, guys, for these guys. Appreciate you guys taking the time to come on. Talk to you guys later. Ski, good luck with the Wizards, man. Sorry I can't join you on that.
Appreciate it. I'll probably need it tonight. And good luck on football. Later.
Talk to you guys later.
Best of luck, fellas.
All right. Let's talk some NFL. We got a good one tonight. Fun one. Definitely a little I feel good about my bets in the Thursday night football game, but on the surface it's a little tough because these two teams in Detroit definitely could be some fireworks, right? Is anyone going to be surprised if this game's 35-32? No. So sitting on an under ticket, definitely a little bit hesitant, let's say. But I do think, based on the numbers, that I'm on the correct side here. So I have under 51.5, and I have Detroit -3. Those are the two bets I have open. I'm pretty sure, I could double check, but I'm pretty sure I have a few more dollars on the under than I do Detroit -3. I think at Detroit -3, I got at -118 and just threw something extra down. So that's what I'm chilling with. I know everyone is looking at the injuries to the Lions defense here. That's the lead story, right? That's the lead story with this Lions defense is everyone's talking about the injuries. The thing is, these injuries aren't really new. The Lions defensive front has been banged up this entire season. Yes, there's a few new pieces out, like Pascal is out. He just got hurt along with Prop Beaver. Anzalone was 2 weeks ago.
Literally everybody, dude. What do you mean?
No, but which ones are new?
I don't know.
Okay,
There's
never
like
mind.
55 people on the team that are hurt.
I'll look it up because the names escape me. I don't
Alan
have...
McNeil is a new one.
No, he's not hurt. DJ Reader is the other one I was thinking of. So DJ Reader is new. But a lot of these line pieces have been hurt for several weeks, right? They're still, in the last 3 weeks, putting up the last 4 games, elite numbers against the run. So the idea that the Lions, because of the injuries, go from one of the best run defenses in the NFL to a terrible run defense, I think we're speaking in fantasy land. Yes, the Packers have been a pretty decent rushing attack and seem to be improving. The last few weeks, they've been pretty solid running the ball. But to go into Detroit and we're like, oh, yeah, Packers are going to average 4.8 yards per carry because they're hurt, that seems insane to me. I still think they're going to struggle to run the ball. Even with the injuries to the Lions defensive front, I still think the Packers are going to struggle to run the ball. And as far as Jordan Love goes, Prop Beaver, do you want to talk about the matchup for Jordan Love?
It's not good. He's very bad against man coverage. The Lions run at the highest rate in the league. He's very bad when blitzed. The Lions blitzed at the 4th highest rate in the league. So I just I'm also on the under in this game, and I really think the main reason to take the under here is I think the matchup for Love is pretty tough here. And then when it comes to the ground game, yeah, pretty much everybody and their mother is hurt for Detroit Lions. But I mean, I think they have more than capable backups, and then on top of that, I mean, I think it's really the coaching. I mean, this is a fantastic coaching staff. I mean, the last 4 weeks, what this rush defense has been able to do has been incredible. And Josh Jacobs, yeah, I mean, I'm a massive Josh Jacobs fan. Coming into the year, I was raving about him, but he ran against a Miami rush defense. I wouldn't say he's the greatest in the world, and he looked absolutely horrendous last week. Now you're going to go into Detroit, facing a front that, yes, while bruised and battered to all hell, is going to send some fierce rush blitzes at you. They do know how to stop the run, whether it comes to scheme or whether it comes to personnel. I just think that they're going to be able to hold it in check here. On top of that, you have 2 offenses that love to run the ball and whose paces are slowing down dramatically as we move towards the latter half of this season. So, I've only placed a half unit on the under due to the absurd amount of injuries on that Lions front. But I do like the under here. My main play, though, that I have 1.5 units on is Christian Watson's over. I have a full unit on his regular line at 48.5, and then I have a half unit on the 60+ line. The reason why I decided to go with Watson here is I feel like everybody and their mother's on Jacobs here, focusing on the injuries to the Lions front 7. I think that is completely valid. But I think the Lions are well aware of that, and they're going to do everything in their power to stop Josh Jacobs and maybe make Jordan Love beat them in this one, because they know that in terms of a matchup, it's going to be a rough one for Love. However, the one guy that I think does have a nice matchup here is Mr. Christian Watson, one of the bigger boomer bust players in the game on a weekly basis. We all know that. But I think this is a guy who could actually find some consistency this season, cashing his 3rd in 4 games after flying his last 2 with 3. This is a guy who sees a dramatic boost in usage against man coverage, 40% air yard share against man compared to 20% against zone, 20% target share against man compared to just 8% against zone, and same thing with team yards. 29% of the team's yards are against man, 14.5% against zone. And now he doesn't have to compete with Romeo Doubs for snaps. That's a guy who's responsible for the 2nd greatest share of the team's yards against man. And really what we need for Christian Watson is just for the guy not to have a goose egg. I mean, literally, with just 2+ receptions, he's over his last 6 and 9 contests, averaging 67.3 yards per game. And we saw him finally not have to play in that bullshit rotation that Matt LaFleur likes to do with all the receivers when they're all healthy last game. Dobbs was out last game, and we saw him playing 94% of the team snaps. With an 83% snap share, Watson's over 6 and 9 career games, including 2-0 against none other than these Detroit Lions, averaging 104 yards per game. All but one time in his career when Watson's hit 48.5. He's also hit 60+ as well, and we're getting that at +145. Lions have allowed a receiver to hit 60+ in all but one of their 12 games this season. I could go on and on, but I really think this is a fantastic Christian Watson game.
Yeah, just to put some numbers to what I said. So in the last 4 games, the Lions defense to opposing running backs is allowing 2.6 yards per carry. 62 carries, 161 yards. So you talk about DJ Reader is now out. Josh Pascal is now out. From the last 4 games, 2.6 yards per carry. All of a sudden, we think this is a bad run defense. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. Sure, the Packers are going to be able to run the ball a little bit, but the idea that the Lions are going to get gouged on the ground, I think that's just not based in reality. And then like Prop Beaver talked about, I won't reiterate it, but Lions run the most man coverage in the NFL, 1st in frequency. They run the most cover 1 in the NFL, 1st in frequency. 2 coverages that Jordan Love is pretty ass against. He's got terrible numbers against man, terrible numbers against cover 1. Also, the Lions blitz a lot. They're 4th in blitz rate. Jordan Love, terrible against the blitz. So this is a flat-out bad matchup for Jordan Love. And this Lions secondary, as many injuries as they have to the front 7, the secondary is completely healthy, and they're playing pretty well. Entering the season, we all thought this Lions, well, when I say we all, myself, I thought this Lions secondary was terrible. It's not at all. They're playing solid defense against the pass. I think Jordan Love's going to struggle here. So I like the matchup a lot for the Lions defense, even with the injuries. Now, on the other side, I really don't necessarily think the Lions offense is going to go off here. They've kind of been trending in the wrong direction a little bit. Not quite as explosive as the video game numbers we were seeing a month ago. But at home, the Lions -3. Everyone seems to be taking the Packers. It's crazy getting the Lions at home. I got a 3. Lions at home laying 3, and I'm not even really on the public side. Not that that matters. But yeah, everyone seems to be taking Green Bay here, or at least at the very least split down the middle. So I think it's a nice spot to play on the Lions. You're not going to get the Lions at home at a 3 very often, if ever. I mean, if it wasn't for, what do we think this line would be if it wasn't for the injuries to the Lions defense? I mean, If we rewind 2 weeks ago, they might have been laying 7 in this spot, honestly. So, yeah, I think it's a good number, too. Under 51.5. Oh, and one more thing. Since week 8, these two teams are 29th and 31st in seconds between snap. So these are two of the slowest paced offenses in the NFL right now, which obviously supports an under. Clock could be running slow paced offenses.
I just want to address 2 comments. One of the comments was asking about why Christian Watson didn't produce that much in the last game. I mean, he had 3 receptions for 37 yards, only played 54% of the snaps, mind you. Now this is a game where I just mentioned 94% of the snaps last game. That was with Romeo Doubs on the field. So I think with the full percentage of snaps, we're going to get a nice one here. And then Holden Gamble. Beaver literally acts like he knows everything, but then can't name the injuries. Trying to produce a show, look up stats, do multiple things at the same time. Sorry I don't have the entire Lions front 7 memorized in my head while Kyle asked for it on demand.
Someone said they have the Lions have the Bills on deck. It's a non-conference game. The Packers have the Seahawks on deck. That's a team they're battling in the wild card for. It's a much bigger game that the Packers have on deck. Not that either of that matters. It's the biggest game of the season for both teams. So I don't think that the game on deck would be even relevant, especially when they have 3 extra days rest. So I don't think that's a factor on either side. Next. Oh, I'm out of here. College basketball. Andy didn't like that comment.
Alrighty. So we're now going to set these up for 3 people because I didn't know that Scoop was joining. So let me set that up real quick. And then we'll get everybody on the screen.
No, hold on. I didn't mean to call that guy out. I don't think he said it. I was just responding. Nah, yo. About the person that said a look ahead spot. I didn't mean to. That's not how I meant it. So sorry if that came off that way. I didn't even mean it like that. Some people deserve to be called out. That person doesn't. They were just like throwing their thoughts out there. They weren't trying to like... get me out of here.
That's why he's the best in the biz.
It's true. Beaver, I did send you an email today.
Yep, I saw it.
Not that you didn't have already 1,000 things on your plate. That's another
Nope,
reason why I hate doing it. Because I'm like, oh, here's another thing for you.
No, we chilling. Community parlay back on track today, and I'll do the underdog while you guys do it.
Love it. Good afternoon, everybody. Finally, we get to talk about some college basketball. I mean, I guess the NBA is all right at times. The NFL Thursday game is all right, but we got some bangers here tonight. Starting out with Purdue and Penn State. I mean, game of the night. I mean, must-see TV. Am I not right, boys? I mean, come on now. It's the world versus the Sharps, right? I'm curious. Me and Andy talked about this a little bit last night. Scoop, what are your thoughts on this game? I'm pretty sure you agree with us, but just curious to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I feel like everyone thinks this line is weird. This was a heavy Purdue public betting. Now it's back to about even when I looked, or it was about 2 hours ago. It's hard to say anything but Purdue or pass, really. I mean, these two teams are not the same. Same record, sure, but the talent is far different. I know I said it about Clemson, Kentucky, and that Clemson isn't a tough place to play. Okay, I was a bit wrong on that, but Penn State, I've been to Penn State basketball. It's not a basketball program or school. Purdue's going there is not going to affect how they play. The main thing is the strength of schedule here. I mean, Purdue played Ole Miss, Marquette, Alabama. Net rating, their strength of schedule is 37th. Penn State is all the way down at 339th, one of the worst in the country. They haven't played anyone near their competition. Their hardest test was Clemson, and in that game, they shot 22% from 3. Purdue, I said in the beginning of the season, the only way they're going to compete without Gillis or Edey is with a backcourt that can knock down shots. Well, Lawyer and Smith are both doing a great job scoring the basketball. They're playing good defensively. Kaufman-Wren has been one of the best players on their team. I think they'll do great here. I think there's a big mismatch down low in the post. And Purdue is shooting 42% from 3. They're good for 7th in the nation. And Penn State is just terrible defending the 3. So Purdue's going to get good looks here. They'll win the game with their offense. I know Penn State has a decent offense themselves, and Purdue isn't great defending the rim currently, but there's no way I'm not grabbing Purdue as an underdog here with a way better offensive team and a way better shooting team. So I'm going to take Purdue on the money line, and I'm going to take Purdue with the points.
Yeah, I mean, it would make a lot more sense to me if if Purdue hadn't, not only have they played much better competition, but they've already played a true road game in Marquette. And if we're being honest, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Mike Rhodes came from the Shaka Smart coaching tree. But regardless, Purdue is going to be, the guard play is everything to me. And I understand that I reading up, especially on the Penn State offense, like people are making the case that they're just going to shred Purdue in the pick and roll. And that might be true, but they're also making the case that our Ole Miss and Marquette had that type of advantage. And I don't think that this Penn State offense is as good as either one of those offenses, especially Marquette. Again, I just think that Purdue has too many advantages in this game. Is this line suspect? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, again, it is a road game. We saw teams falter on the road. I mean, but at the same time, I think this is very similar to last night where I felt like USC was kind of fake sharp and they weren't until they were. And then within 50 seconds, that game absolutely flipped. And again, Oregon covered. So I'm going to continue to play these lines that regardless of if they're sketchy or not. For me, like I said, I played Purdue as soon as this line opened at 2. So, Andy, I know that your thoughts are pretty much the same. I don't know if you can add very much. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going to reiterate everything. I mean, they're right. Yeah. I think the advantages that Penn State have on paper are mostly because they played nobody. That game against Clemson, I watched it. They had no shot in that game. They were pretty much run off the floor. They couldn't hit shots. I know it was a neutral site. Don't get me wrong, but it's not a huge shock that they struggled against Clemson. They're not that good of a team. Their best win is, I think I said it last night, their best win is Purdue-Fort Wayne. They gave up 89 points in that game. I mean, now you're playing Purdue. You're playing the actual Purdue. Scoop made a good point. They're begging people to go to this game. I mean, they got to. Now, I'm not saying that like this is a bad, but they are a bad basketball program, and they've had trouble getting people to go to games. I'm sure the place will be filled tonight, but Penn State fans have a lot of other things on their mind right now, especially with Saturday. So I don't think it'll be the craziest environment. I get it. It's sketchy. People think we're falling into a trap. I also kind of thought we were falling into a trap with Ole Miss. They won the game by 30. Like, it happens. There's a trappy line in the Northwestern State game tonight too. Nobody's talking about that one because nobody's going to be watching that one. But like, it happens all the time where there's trappy ass lines. You just brought up the Oregon one. Like, sometimes they're just the way that it goes. So I'm sorry. I think if there's any point this season where I'm going to get Purdue as a dog, I'm going to take them. But especially against
we said the same thing about the Ole Miss line 2 days ago, and they won by 23. So
right.
I mean, it's hit or miss.
I also think that as far as like the Clemson and Kentucky game is concerned, like I said about Kentucky, that was the first time they were going to be on the road in a true environment with a team that could actually hold them in transition to make them do something in the front court or in the back court offense, in the half court offense, excuse me. So I don't think that everything lines up the same. I think that Purdue has been battle tested, which is really much the key factor for me. Like that's what the key factor is. But anyway, next game up. Xavier, TCU. This game got a lot of attention in the Discord. I don't know why, but people really want to bet Xavier. I know Stotts has bet Xavier. He has a ticket out that he posted. I don't know who else is on Xavier. Scoop, are you on Xavier too?
Yeah.
Tell us why. I'm on the over.
The Big East is a weird conference so far. They're really inconsistent. Same with Xavier. They beat Wake, beat South Carolina, then gets destroyed by Michigan, and almost lose to South Carolina State. But the good thing is they're playing TCU, who look bad. They're back-to-back losses to Santa Clara and Colorado State. So Xavier is a really good three-point team, a decent shooting team in general. The thing with TCU is they're just not scoring, and they're not running a tempo I'm used to seeing from TCU. Jamie Dixon usually gets out fast, but I guess there's really no point when the team can't score. With those back-to-back losses, they're shooting under 40%. That Santa Clara game, they couldn't hit anything at all. I think they were 1 for 19 from 3. They're pretty good defensively, but it's hard to see stopping Xavier on the perimeter right now. Conwell Foster and who's the other guard? McKnight. The three guards for Xavier, the main 3 ones, they're all shooting over 40% from 3. Other than that, they're a pretty similar team in terms of defense, rebounding, turnovers. The big issue is TCU is the scoring, and I think that is going to be a factor this whole time. I would hate to take a middle of the road kind of Big East team on the road here, but It's just hard to trust TCU right now. Only one player is averaging over 10 points, and that's Frankie Collins, and that's 11 points a game, and he's barely shooting over 40% in general. So I'm going to take the better offensive team with Xavier here. So, yeah, God help me.
Andy?
I think Toast and I looked at each other when you said it. The perfect spot today for TCU. When they were last night, correct? If I'm remembering correctly, it was +1.5 when we did the show last night, and now they're favorites.
Yep.
This is a beautiful spot for TCU. 3 of their last 4 games have been road or neutral site games in which they look bad, and pretty much all of them lost all of them to good opponents. Don't get me wrong. They shot 1 of 9, like you said, against Santa Clara. What are the chances they're going to do that at home tonight? Not very good. It's a beautiful spot for them to regroup and win this game. I know Xavier is also in a situation where they did play a close game recently with South Carolina State, and people were kind of jumping off of them. But I just think the spot is perfect for TCU. So I have TCU. I think they're going to win it. By at 1.5, you're basically picking the winner anyway. So, yeah, I like TCU.
I didn't know that you actually played TCU. Interesting. I just think that there's going to be points in this game. So I got it at 144.5. It's at 148 now. Definitely don't love it as much as that number, but I do think we see points. I do think that Xavier is going to be a bad matchup for the TCU offense. Not only can Conwell shoot, McKnight can shoot, Trey Green can shoot. Conwell's made like 30 triples already this year. I don't worry about the Xavier offense scoring on the TCU defense. I also think that, as Andy alluded to, I think that the TCU offense is probably going to have themselves a little bit better night than they've seen. He talked about it, the 3 of their last 4 games have been on the neutral or on the road. Now they're back home. Not to mention the fact that TCU is one of these teams that has been let open to shoot a whole bunch of open threes, and they haven't shot a lot of them very well. I think sooner or later those shots are about to drop, and it could be tonight here at home. I'm looking at a whole bunch of expected numbers and whatnot from shot quality and the people that really like this game as well. I just feel like there's sooner or later TCU is going to start hitting some shots, and they're one of those teams that I just don't feel like Xavier is going to be one of those teams on the road to stop them constantly. But again, I just think that we see points here. I didn't really want to pick a side because I agree that I think it's a spot for TCU. But at the same time, this team has been so bad defensively that I don't really know if I can trust them, because if Xavier's cold in the first half and they start making shots in the second half, this game could get out of hand really quickly. So we saw that with Wisconsin and Michigan, how Michigan just kind of took over in the second half of that game. So I would lean, if I had to pick a side, I would probably lean Xavier just because I think they're the far better team. But like I said, I'd rather just worry about the points. Also, both of these teams play at a really decent pace. Xavier's top 50 or like 55 in the country. TCU is a top 75 team as far as pace as well. So the pace should definitely be there tonight. Next game up, I think we're all on the same side of this one. I don't know if Andy actually bet it or not. Huh?
I have the total. I have the under.
Okay. So, well, why don't you kick us off with the total then? Because I know that me and Scoop are definitely on St. Louis for sure.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those game script things that I've done with some of these totals, and it's the way that I think the game is going to go. It's very similar, if you remember, on Thanksgiving to USC St. Mary's. USC was clearly the less talented team going in, and they ran a very fast pace. St. Mary's was clearly the more talented team. They ran a slow pace. USC under-talented, undermanned comparison. They ran a really fast pace. I expect the more talented team, especially now that it's the home team, I expect them to be able to dictate the pace. They are 205th in pace. I think that that's going to get St. Louis out of whack. I think it's going to mess up their offense. They're not going to be able to hit shots as well on the road. So I think this is a really good under spot. They're 45th in point distribution by 3-pointers. I don't think that the 3-point shot's going to be there when the pace is different, when they're not able to do what they want to do in transition and all of those things. I don't think that's going to be there for them. So I think this is a good spot where they score less. In San Francisco, we already know they're going to score less as well. They really want to shoot, 2-pointers, but they're also a slow-paced team, so we know they don't really want to run it fast and get a lot of scoring. So, yeah, I have the under. I have a 151.5. It went up a point. Not crazy, but it did go up, just for everybody to know. But obviously, I love it more at 152.5. So, yeah, I have the under.
Scoop, why are you playing St. Louis? Because I agree. I'm on St. Louis as well. I took them at 9.5.
Yeah, San Fran's a solid team. They did lose 2 big matchups at Clemson and Memphis, 2 respectable losses. Well, Memphis more than Clemson, I guess, because Clemson put a kind of a beat down on them. But you do know they need these games. Any out-of-conference win will be big for their resume. But I think the line's too much here. And if you watch San Fran, they're a team of 2 halves. It looks like every game. Some games they come out strong, blow it late. Other games they have a bad half, like Mercyhurst last game, and played great the second half. That's not going to work out. St. Louis has the talent to compete. I got it at 9.5, but that's crazy to me, especially if San Fran is shooting free throws like they do. Last game they were shooting 54% from the line, 17-31. I mean, I just like St. Louis's talent. They have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Come on, American's darling. His glasses are gorgeous. But no, St. Louis has. I agree. They have been decently bad. They've only won one game against the spread, but it's hard to take a team that's like as volatile as San Fran right now with their consistency. It's hard to lay that many points even at home when they haven't traveled outside the Pacific time zone yet. But St. Louis is on a bit of a 3-game streak. This should be a competitive game throughout. I think 9.5 with San Fran's way too much right now to lay on even at home. So.
Yeah, I agree. Also, the one thing I wanted to point out with St. Louis is that Avila Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, as who like to call him, he was hurt for a few games as well. And like I touched on it last night, now he's finally starting to get back into swing of things. He played, 30 or sorry, what is it, minutes play? There it is. 30 against Quinnipiac, 33 against UMass Lowell, 38 against Jackson State. So you can assume that he's going to be playing the whole game here today, which I think that's a big factor. I think that he, especially a big guy like that, who's he's almost 7 foot or 6'10" or whatever it is. So that's definitely going to help on defense. And Scoop mentioned it. Not only is San Francisco extremely volatile on both sides of the ball, defense, offense, it doesn't really matter. You never know what you're going to get. And they've also had like crazy good numbers at home this year. I mean, their offense looks absolutely unstoppable at home this year. And I just personally don't think that's going to continue to hold up. I mean, at the time, they've played Cal Poly at home, Long Beach State, Chicago State. Scoop mentioned the Mercyhurst game, Fordham. I'm not trying to make a case that St. Louis is like head and shoulder better than these guys, especially on the defensive end. But I do think that overall they're a much, much better team than any of these teams that they've faced. Now, the Memphis and Clemson's games are both on a neutral, and that Memphis game was the same thing. It was they had a really good first half and then a really bad second half, or vice versa. I can't remember which one it was. But regardless, they're just a team that I don't really trust laying a big, huge number here. If this number was 4.5 or whatever it was, then maybe that would be a different story. But 9.5 or even 8.5 right now in a game that I agree with Andy probably goes under, I'm more than willing to take my chances having multiple possessions in my pocket. So that is it for college basketball.
All right, community parlay time.
Community parlay, the parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community. We come unite, making a parlay. Yeah.
Alrighty. And then I actually, we're going to start with the college games first because I know the results are fresh in my head.
Okay. Toast, do you have kicking props today? Well, first of all, the big thing about kicking props with Toast is he will never fade a kicker, so it's only over or bust.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
So
we don't fade. We don't fade kickers.
You already
kickers are
kind
people
of know.
too.
Okay.
Is it McManus?
It would be. I can't trust McManus just because
His morals.
His moral.
He's just kind of on and off. He's looked really good the last couple weeks, if I remember correctly, and then the couple previous weeks before that, he just really hasn't been crap. But you know who is a stud and that you could probably count on, and he's been down the last couple weeks. And if this game stays under like Sauce thinks it will, you would assume field goals. Mr. Jake Bates, the Lions kicker, 7.5 kicking points. That's what I would play. I don't really love that both of these guys their field goal numbers are at -105 or plus 100. That's kind of interesting, but you assume one of them's going to hit. I would use Bates if it was me personally. I think I'm going to pass, but anyway.
Okay. Interessante. So for the underdog for this evening, I got a little bit of a two-piece for everybody. Obviously, I mean, Christian Watson's the main guy we want, but we need a second guy from the other team. So I put in Sam Laporta over 39.5 receiving yards. I mean, on a bit of a downtrend lately, hasn't been really producing much, but I think this is a nice bounce back spot. Packers defense kind of been getting cooked by tight ends lately. I mean, we saw Jonnu Smith do numbies on Thanksgiving, and now we got Laporta, who actually sees an uptick both in usage and efficiency against cover 2. Packers run cover 2 at one of the highest rates in the league, so going to combine these two for our underdog pick'em of the day. If you're not an underdog customer and want a free leg or would just like to replace one of those, well, Jordan Love, higher than a half total yard, Toyotathon has begun. So, I mean, essentially a lock for the guy to get a yard today. And then also, if you're not an underdog customer and would like to become one, you can sign up in one of these yellow states. The promo code is BET, and you know what those letters are, 3EE. Let's see. The first team is St. Louis in the community parlay.
has
Do either one of you two have any other bets that we didn't talk about that you'd like to share?
I have Northwestern State. I just bet it right before. I went through that game. I don't know what you did. I don't know why the line is where it is. Maybe I'm falling into a trap as well. Ken Pom has it at 1. The line is 5. There's just significant. Northwestern State has played a great schedule to this point. They've gotten crushed in a lot of their games, but they're playing really good teams. Their opponent, if I'm remembering correctly, it was
Did you see that?
Incarnate Word has played absolutely nobody. They've done nothing of. They've played nobody who defends the 3, even within the top 250. In the top 250, they're not playing their first team that defends the 3 within the top 200, 202, so 250. That's the one that, like, they're shooting unbelievable from 3, and they want to shoot 3s. They haven't faced anybody who defends the 3 well, so I like Northwestern State a lot. I don't understand why the line's 5. When Ken Pom has it at 1, and I think they could win the game. I have them winning the game. So,
speaking of weird ones, remember that Alabama? Did you actually bet Alabama State?
Yeah, I'm pissed off,
dude. up three at half, only to go down 26-13 in the second half.
Yeah, I bet them, and I'm pissed.
This is my life.
This is ridiculous.
This is my life. This is my life.
This is my life.
It's now.
Well, Andy gets teams like Oregon to cover, Texas to cover. Here I am.
That's the text I get from Tosh yesterday. I wish I was as lucky as you.
I wish I was half as lucky as some of the bets that I get. You guys get sometimes. God damn.
All right, so Mavericks is going to be our second leg, and then the third leg, I'll be typing it now. So continue conversation. Continue.
I took Wright State plus 1.5. And that's Nichols -2, and that's pretty much it. I'm pretty pissed off about Alabama State, though. I'm not.
And let me reiterate, I'm pissed about Alabama State.
I have nothing on that game, so I can care less about that. I couldn't care less, so I could not care less.
I didn't care less.
I have Valparaiso plus 10.5.
Good colors.
I played Brandon Miller under 25.5 points in the NBA.
I had Fulham winning money line. There's 1-3-1.
This is a soccer-free program.
This is not a soccer-free program. It's soccer when I say it's soccer.
It's free tonight. Don't forget everything Kyle said. The line, the Lions. It's Toyotathon. Jordan Love's on fire. They're going on the road where they beat the Lions to hell last year on Thanksgiving. It's over. No deep.
All right, we're getting out of whack now. Andy's spreading libel. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
it's a Toyota Diddy-thon for love, and all of a sudden he thinks it's gonna be a friggin'. This guy's out of his mind.
Anybody have German handball or Ukrainian ping pong picks today?
Yeah, put them in the comments.
All right, community parlay: St. Louis Pelicans +9, the Dallas Mavericks -14, and the Memphis Grizzlies -3.5, coming out to a clean +590. Wow, that parlay made Scoop exit out for a second. I don't think it's that bad, Scoop, but we'll see. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm sure we'll be back for a midnight stream, and you all know the deal. Stay goated.